Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. The bigger picture, only on Money FM 89.3.
Good morning. Welcome to the bigger picture, and we are looking ahead to the rest of the week and also perhaps the next few weeks as we kick off a brand new month and looking at a couple of things on the table as well across the region. There is some drama in terms of the protests in Indonesia, and we have been seeing bubbling tensions over layoffs, rising costs, tax hikes, and much more, leading to nationwide protests. And that's potentially a wake-up call for President Prabowo Subianto to recalibrate and also confront some deepening inequalities. So that is something that's playing out for markets on that front. And also in the days ahead, we are looking out for data from the US in the form of jobs. The non-farm payrolls data will be out later this week. So how will all that play out for wider markets? Let's check in now with Oriano Lizza. He is the sales trader for CMC Markets Singapore. Oriano, good morning. How are you doing today?
Hi there, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, interesting time for you to be looking at markets with all the drama out there. So let's start first with close to home, Indonesia. We've got protests playing out. And I think last Friday, we saw the markets taking a bit of a hit in terms of the responses to what's playing out in terms of the protests. What are you taking away from that front? And how are you seeing the reaction in terms of the markets in Indonesia?
Yeah, I think geopolitical risk just in general seems to be a sort of common theme, and I think the markets are a little bit on edge globally. Specifically with Jakarta, obviously we did see both the JCI and the rupiah show some sort of steep declines. I think this goes back to a lot of the sort of, like you previously mentioned, sort of rising costs and people's sort of, I guess, insecurities about general day-to-day living in these lower socioeconomic environments. And this seems to be playing out across global countries, basically worldwide, where there seems to be, we see a larger gap between the wealthy and the poor, and this is causing uncertainty, hence protests. What we did see was the sort of Indonesian government intervene and look to sort of stabilise the rupiah, but I mean it's still something that needs to be addressed, and it's probably something that we're going to have to deal with going forward.
Yeah, Indonesia's equity benchmark was down 1.5% on Friday. Something we definitely tracking in the days ahead to see if that continues. Also, something we are tracking is the data of the US, and that's where we've got the non-farm payrolls data out. This, of course, coming off the back of last week's data, which was on the inflation front. Help us put everything together. What are we looking at when it comes to the expectations for the data this week, and how is that going to play out into the FOMC meeting in the middle of the month?
Sure. So I think with NFP this month, they're looking at an increase to around 165,000 in terms of those non-farm payrolls, so the job creation. Unemployment figures are set to sort of increase to around 4.5%, which is suggesting that there is a cooling off in the labour market. This is sort of in line with the Fed's rhetoric surrounding rate cuts, which I think are fairly priced into the market at the moment, and is what's keeping the market at these heightened levels, but will obviously suppress the dollar as well. So if these particular figures come in as expected, that's what we can still see heightened equity levels in equity markets and that dollar staying suppressed.
All right, that's going to be one to watch out for on the jobs front. Okay, what else is also worth watching for earnings to come? Some big names to keep an eye on: Salesforce, Broadcom, Lululemon, even the jeweler behind Taylor Swift's engagement ring is going to be on tap. What's going to be standing out for you?
Yeah, those big ones there, those bulk of the tech stocks and AI stocks as well. We see CrowdStrike as well as Snowflake also reporting as well. So I think what we're going to be looking for is just general market sentiment in that area. Interesting, we've also got a lot of retailers out of the US who are also announcing earnings, Dick's Sporting Goods and also Foot Locker. So that will give us some insight into consumer sentiment and also spend. That if they seem to be heightened, then obviously what we will see is concern surrounding inflation. And then I guess closer to home, we have got Alibaba, who are forecasting some dropping, about 13% drop on earnings per share year on year. So that will also, depending on which segments of Alibaba's business are failing, that might give broader insight into the market.
All right, some earnings to watch out for. And of course, I suppose this is a good time to ask you what you're watching out for in terms of trades that are looking attractive, especially as we head into a new month where September is historically not a great one. I think on average down 0.7%, and some describe it as the worst month for markets in the year.
Yeah, you're actually spot on, Ryan. So, yeah, as I said, August and September historically seem to be sort of weaker in terms of performance. This week, not de-dollarization play, should I say, but this weakening of the dollar and moving into other currencies has kept those levels higher. In terms of specific trades, I'm looking at a sort of rotational sectorial shift, basically away from big caps and tech into financials, industrial and healthcare. What I would be looking at as well is smaller cap stocks outside of the US and also into the European indices. These are normally slower to catch up to the large index of US markets. And again, they'll continue to be something to look out for. So steering slightly away from the tech and AI, and then looking at a European or any indices outside of the US.
All right, rotation perhaps on the cards, especially as we come off the back of some of the numbers from NVIDIA. It did beat on the top and bottom lines, but it did also warn of a bit of a slowdown when it comes to the projections going ahead. And we've been in conversation with Oriano Lizza. He is the sales trader for CMC Markets Singapore. Oriano, thanks for your time as always, and thank you. We'll catch up again soon.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Have a great day.
You too.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.